joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and to spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dope. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike you out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashin' for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about with running my earned route and working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scarred bitch, that's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. One of them joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and to spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for I'm talking all kind of shit. Y'all can't even hear a pimp. Yeah, man, what's happening with y'all, though? Appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in. Y'all already know, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button, that thing that look like that there. You dig? Yeah. We're going to get to this good old game today, man. I see it's 78 of y'all up in here, but only 46 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door, man. Do a pimp a favor, man, and wipe your feet off at the door. Hit that like. And y'all already know my first order of business. I got to hydrate my game one time. Miss Jackson, I see ya. Blessings. Appreciate you joining us. You dig? Miss Hips in the building. Denise. What's going on? I see y'all. Arby, Rude. What's up with it? Yeah, man. Yeah, we're going to chop this good old game. Cheers to the game. Let me get things ready. So we're going to talk about a young gentleman by the name of June who just recently did an interview with Soft White Underbelly. And this review probably ain't going to go how a lot of y'all expect it to go. You know, when you see this young man, the first thing you probably going to assume is that Free's going to immediately get to roasting. But, you know, it's a lot to learn from this, not just this particular video, but many videos like this one, right? You know, so hopefully youngsters in the game, even the young man who just did this interview, can learn from it, you dig? Oh, you like my tie, huh, Denise? You like what you see, don't you? You like what you see. Yeah. International with this shit, though. International. But yeah, thank you, though. I'm glad you like the tie. Looks rather nice on my pimpish skin tone, if I do say so myself. But yeah. Let's get into this game. Hold on. So it's a young man by the name of June, a young Latino fellow who just did an interview with Soft White Underbelly. And he didn't do the interview alone. He has two young ladies that are under his tutelage, guidance, and instruction, allegedly, that joined him on this interview. So let's get to it. Hold on. Wait. Why is it not? Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. So let's get into this interview.
All right, June.
It's the deal. What's going on?
June, you are a pimp on Figueroa Street.
Yeah.
But you're a little different than 99.9% of the other pimps out there.
You feel me? Yeah. I got the brown card, you know? You feel me?
You are Hispanic, not African American.
Yeah. Some might say that, take that as a little, you know.
Okay, now, the first and foremost, what I want people to understand is because, it's some people watching right now or who might watch this video on the replay that may in the future be offered to be a guest on this show or what have you, the Soft White Underbelly, right? What you have to understand is that, Mark, while he seems like an okay guy, he doesn't he's not somebody that can relate to you, obviously, for one. And two, it's like you're like how when you go to the zoo and you look at animals in the zoo and you see a monkey in a cage or something like that, or you see a lion or just different exotic animals and what have you that you see at the zoo. Of course, you want the best for the animal. You don't want to see anything bad. You don't want any harm to come to the animal. You want the animal to be healthy and happy and live a good life. But, you're not going to go out of your way to do anything for the animal if it was, expected of you to do so or thought of you to do so. And you can't relate to the animal, other than the well-being of the animal, you don't really care much about the animal. To you, it's just an animal. You don't want nothing bad to happen to it, but you don't really care for the animal like that, right? So that's pretty much what the guests on Soft White Underbelly are to Mark. They just exhibits of creatures that he interviews, and he doesn't really care about their personal interests. He doesn't care about what they've been through, even though he asks certain questions about that. But it's like textbook cookie cutter questions that he asks everybody. He might try to put a slight bit of seasoning on the questions, but he pretty much got the same cookie cutter approach to every interview, right? But he doesn't really care about what these people go through, so on and so forth. Now, if it's a young lady that he finds attractive, we already know he has a history of, being generous to certain young ladies on the podcast. And I could imagine there's some fellas on here too that he's probably been generous with. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was. But Mark don't come from where these people come from, and aside from interviewing them to show or expose to the world the quote unquote soft white underbelly of America, meaning the broken part of America, the damaged part of America, which is, what he believes these people represent. He couldn't really care less for, these people and what they go through. So I just want y'all to understand that. Like, basically my point is, with this young guy right here, June, and the young ladies that's with him, Mark don't really have their best interests at heart. And as we continue with the interview, you're going to be able to tell what I'm talking about when I say he don't really have their best interests at heart. But let's continue.
And you have two young ladies with you. Who are they?
You feel me? This Yasmin right here.
Yasmin.
My girl Yasmin. This is my girl Princess right here.
And Princess.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
Like a year or so, a little over a year. Something like that.
And I also want to point out, man, I have to point out, that this even if June would have came on here by himself, it's not really the best idea to come on here, period. But especially with two young ladies, and the title says Mexican Pimp, got his name on there, and then if you look at the description, Soft White Underbelly interview in Portrait of June, a Mexican pimp on Figueroa Street in South Central Los Angeles. Stop data brokers from yeah, so it's letting you know that he's a pimp on. It's telling you that he's a pimp, where he pimps at, and who he pimps on. Allegedly. This is never a good idea. See, I don't want to say any names because I don't want to be a part of certain algorithms. Because I've been in trouble with the law before, and I don't like fanning the flames of people's open cases. So I'm not gonna say any names, but y'all know who just got booked recently, right? And y'all know who the alphabet people put a case on recently, right? And a lot of what that case was built on came from the internet, right? A lot of what that case was built on came from some of the people on that case giving specific details on very large platforms here on the internet, right? So I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to get specific. I'm not going to get into details, but y'all know who and what I'm talking about, right? It's all over the internet. You can even see it on the suggested videos right here on the side. You know what I mean? So, like I said, a lot of that kicked off and was made strong based on what certain people on that case said on the internet, right? So, and then if you watch the press conference about that situation, they let you know that, hey, we've been watching these podcasts that these people been on. We've been listening to what they've been saying. You know what I mean? And they basically let the world know that, hey, these people want to get on podcasts and get specific about, certain crimes that they committing allegedly and so forth. So yeah, our antennas was up and we tuned in. So, it's one thing to say, hey, this is the type of lifestyle that I live, or this is who and what I am. You could say that all day long. It's a whole bunch of people on the internet that say that they gangbangers. It's a whole bunch of people on the internet that say that they pimps. It's a whole bunch of people on the internet that say that they robbers and drug dealers and so on and so forth, right? But that's one thing. It's a totally different thing and a more dangerous thing, and makes you more vulnerable when you get specific about the things that you're doing. You know what I mean? When you say that you did this to this specific person, or you're doing this with these specific people, that's when it becomes dangerous, right? So, this right here, him being on here with these two young ladies, this is never smart. Never smart. You know what I mean? I probably should make a whole nother video on a separate time about, how to be smart about what you're doing on the internet, and how being dumb on the internet about what you're doing can cost you. But let's continue.
And June, you've been doing this for how long?
I would say a couple years and shit like that. Been at it for a little while now.
Where'd you learn this game, as they call it?
Growing up in LA, being from LA and shit, like a couple of my partners, like who I grew up with or whatnot, and you feel me? It's common where I was at, and I kind of picked up on it, and I was always highly favored, by women, or what you might say, so I just kind of took advantage of it, went the whole way, type shit.
You learned the game from who? From other pimp?
See, hey man, and those of y'all who have been arrested and interrogated before, you know what I'm talking about, right? Especially if you was like me, right? First time I got arrested, I was real young. I was like, I think 19 or 20, right? In the same age group as these people right here. And when they arrest you, they take you into the interrogation room. If it's like a crime, if it's not for traffic ticket or nothing like that, if if it's certain misdemeanors or felonies or whatever the case, they take you into these interrogation rooms, right? And you in there pretty much by yourself, and sometimes it'll be one officer, or most of the time it's one officer. Sometimes it'll be two officers, you know. And when you're young and you never been in this kind of situation before, and they make you aware of your rights. You got the right to an attorney. You got the right to remain silent. But, you know, they don't encourage you to exercise those rights. They encourage you to forget about those rights, right? So when they take you into these interrogation rooms, they're not going to encourage you to exercise your right to remain silent, or, you know, let a lawyer speak for you, which in most cases, when you're in that interrogation room, your lawyer is not present. Right, but you don't have to talk to them. You don't have to answer their questions. But they have a field day with youngsters in that interrogation room who don't have a lawyer present and don't know their rights and stuff like that. And that's just how this interview feels. This interview feels like this young cat June is in the interrogation room, and Mark is the detective, and Mark is interrogating this dude, and it's like looking at a deer that's about to get chewed up by a lion. You know what I mean? You just wish that you could provide the deer with some protection or something like that. You know what I mean? If you're an animal lover, and that's how I feel. I feel like June is supposed to have a lawyer present. You know what I mean? In this interview, man, or this interrogation. It's like, damn, man, he in the interrogation room, he ain't got no lawyer, and he just answering questions, man. He trying to get himself booked, you know. That's what this shit feel like, you know, because, you know, shout out to the white dudes that ain't like that. You know, I know it's some of y'all that exist, but, you know, for the most part, a lot of white guys, they just have like an aura about them, like a natural police aura. You know what I mean? It's no offense to you, but some of you white guys, you know what I'm talking about. If you keep it real with yourself, you be like, yeah, he ain't lying. But, you know, they just have like a natural like police type aura. And I don't think Mark has ever been a police officer, but by him being a, you know, all-American white dude, he just got that like natural police interrogation, you know what I mean, incriminate you type of vibe about himself, man. So and it's sad because, you know, Mark is old enough to be he's old enough to be all of them's grandfather, right? He's old enough to be their parents. So, just with all the wisdom that he has, and, you know, he done interviewed a whole bunch of street people before, but this lets you know that he really don't care about these people's well-being, because he's asking questions that could potentially incriminate these people. But he don't care about that. He just want to have a good interview. So the more incriminating questions and information that he can get from them, the better the interview in his mind. You dig? But let's continue.
Yeah. You know, I have a couple Pimp partners, different cities, you know, different states.
And they're Hispanic or black?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. So
yeah.
there are some other Hispanic pimps out there.
Yeah, I would say. I bump into a couple, I guess you could say, so-called pimps and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many, you have a total of 2 girls right now?
I got a few.
You have a few, okay.
Yeah.
And see, man, as young as this kid is, he is from LA, and he probably he done been in the streets, because at some point in the interview he lets it be known that he did time in juvenile hall or YA or something like that. So, you know, even though he young, he only 21 years old, you know, he done been in the streets. So you could just, I don't know, it might just be me. I might be overanalyzing the shit, man. But it just feel like he don't even feel comfortable answering these questions that Mark is asking him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know why he agreed to do this interview, especially with his ladies on the side, each side of him, because, like, you could just tell he don't feel comfortable. It's not like if he was on, like, say he was on Sharp's podcast, if Sharp was interviewing him, or Art of Dialogue, or, certain black podcasts. you know, or just urban podcasts, even, you know, different Latino podcasters that do their thing. He probably will be a lot more comfortable answering certain questions and just having an open conversation and chopping it up with them. But you could just tell, like, he don't even feel comfortable, man, answering these certain questions. But let's continue.
The cops have been a problem for you or no?
Yeah. I just got raided at the hotel like yesterday, day before yesterday, with them.
And the cops do what? They come by and they say what?
You feel me? They're like 12 like cars deep. They put up riot shields. They put out like, you know, beanbag guns, the ARs, and they went up from both sides of the motel, and they told everybody to come out. They had them come out like hands up. Feel me? I got video too. She was on the FaceTime. So like come out on the speaker. They arrested him. They took us to the station.
So you were in jail for how long?
Like a couple hours.
That's it.
Yeah. At 77 station.
What do you think they're looking for?
I would probably say, you know.
Underage girls?
Yeah. And they did find that, you know, nothing to do with me, but the room next to me or whatnot. So that's why they hit the spot.
So you guys are making good money?
Yeah, I would say. You know, it'd be fast, it'd be slow. Anybody in the game know that, but no, you got some good game or whatnot. You feel me? Some solid.
And Yasmin and Princess, you're giving June how much of your money?
All of it.
All of it?
Mm-hmm.
And what is he treats you well with that?
Yeah. He takes care of us.
He
Yeah.
buys us everything we need.
It's nice to hear. Do you guys live together, or where do you guys?
Now, a lot of unwise things come from videos like this, but you know, like I said, there's a lot to learn, and you know, for the people this participants of the game or may end up being participants of the game that's watching this, hey man, it's a lot you can learn just from observing, you know, they energy towards each other, right? In the mannerisms and things like that. You know, this chick right here with the baby face, you know, she seemed like she seemed more gung-ho and enthusiastic about the whole household situation that they got going on. This chick on the right, she kind of seemed like, you know, she's there for the convenience of it. Like it's probably some type of convenience that wasn't revealed in this interview. That's the reason why she's there. You know what I mean? But it don't seem like she's really there for him in particular. This chick over here, she's there for him, right? The chick on the left. But the chick on the right, she's there for the situation, whatever it may be. It's probably better than the situation that she came from, and it don't seem like she's really into this guy like that, you know. But this chick, she seemed like she more with it. Like this one on the left, she probably the one that when she down, you know, he ain't getting a whole bunch of calls and texts from this one. Only time she call and text him is to let him know when she busy and when she done getting busy and what came from her being busy in each instance that she's busy. This one right here is probably a thing where either he don't hardly ever hear from her when she down and it's because she's up to no good most of the time, or, you know what I mean, he getting calls and texts from her every 2 seconds because, you know, she just one of them pessimistic ones that find a problem with everything and she really don't want to be down like that. You know what I mean? It's one of them type of situations. And then also you got to keep in mind that this chick right here has a kid, and this one right here on the left, she don't have no kids. But let's continue.
Sleep.
Something like that, yeah.
In motels?
Occasionally. Working time, yeah. or whatnot. But we live together, something like that.
How many nights a week are you working?
All of them,
You guys work every night?
almost. You know, between the net and the track, whatever, regulars and stuff, there's always work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you two young ladies get into this game?
I met June at a party, and then we just started texting, and I came.
How does he approach you?
How did he approach me?
Like he said, like as a boyfriend, and then turns into a pimp thing, or he just let you know right from the
Yeah,
get-go?
he let me know how it was.
Oh, really? Were you in the game before that?
No.
What did he say to convince you that this was something you wanted?
She just all smiles and everything like that, you know what I mean? But like I said, just pay attention to the difference between her and the other one.
I mean, I've been thinking about it. Like, even before I met him, I was just, looking for someone.
Mm-hmm. How old are you guys? Yasmin and
20.
19.
19 and 20. So everything's legal, except it's illegal. Today's video is sponsored by Aura.
Let's get past a little commercial part.
Digital security right now. And now back to the video. Thank you for watching. And you work different tracks or just Figueroa Street?
Different. It just really depends, to be honest.
We go everywhere.
Do you travel other cities?
Vegas, San Diego, Arizona.
The Bay.
And see, this is what's dangerous. This is another thing that's dangerous. Like I said, Mark, he doesn't care about how incriminating their answers may be. He just wants a good interview. So he's just asking the juiciest questions that he can ask, no matter how incriminating the answers to these questions may be. See, he got two girls on here that's claiming to be 304s. He's claiming to be a P. And then the girls just pretty much let it be known that they travel across state lines. This is just unwise. They could have just left it at, yeah, we move around. We got different options. I mean, like I said, mind you, me, I would never do no shit like this by myself, let alone with some ladies up there with me. But them type of questions, if you gonna do this type of shit, getting specific, Vegas, Arizona, those is different state lines that you're traveling across, man. So, things become, the risk is just much higher when you revealing that you're doing things like this, man. But let's continue.
I.e. everything.
Well, you get around. And by moving around, you get new clientele, you're a fresh new face on the street and all that?
Yeah.
More money coming in.
Mm-hmm. Are you saving money, June?
Yeah, I stack it up for sure. I think I'm like stack or starve type, I can have water in my pocket, I'm still gonna give me a cup of noodle in the telly or whatnot. You feel me?
In the gang.
Now, if he really is doing it like that, you know what I mean? That's kind of a smart thing, or a wise thing to way to stack your money. You know what I mean? But, sometimes people will be wise in one area with their game and unwise in other areas. Like he said, he'll have a stack of money and eat some top ramen noodles. If you are stacking towards a certain mission, then, that's a good thing, or it can be a good thing. But, if you frivolous with the money in other areas, then, that's not so wise. It's like having a hole in your pocket. You know what I mean? It's going to be hard to stack. But that's cool, that in and of itself. But let's continue.
LA, especially South Central, where Figueroa Street runs through, is a lot of gangs down there.
Yeah.
Do they hassle you?
Nah. I'm you feel me?
Because it's mostly African American down there, and you're not one of them.
Yeah, but
how do they treat you?
No type of way. I would say I get along with them. I know a few, gang members or whatnot from the area,
Were you in gangs, or are you in gangs?
Nah, I'm not.
No.
You know, I kind of represent the game. I'm not really into the gang banging, but I would say, you know, I have acquaintances or whatnot.
What kind of pimp would you describe yourself as? There are all kinds of, there's finesse pimps, there's gorilla pimps, there's boyfriend pimps, there's all kinds of stuff.
Nah, most definitely not no boyfriend pimp. I'm not a gorilla pimp either. I feel like, you feel me?
You're a businessman.
Yeah, I'm a businessman, you know?
And you see how Mark, like, he's done that several times. He won't even allow the young man to answer the question. You know, now it seems like the cat is like thinking a little bit before he answers certain questions, and Mark will like finish and answer the question for him. Like, he asked him what kind of pimp he is. He gave different examples of different types of pimps that he believes he's familiar with. Then before the kid could answer, you a businessman? And then yeah, I'm a businessman for sure. Like, stop. If you're gonna ask the young man a question, don't answer the question for him. I don't know, man. Everybody ain't real good at interviewing, but let's continue.
A gentleman, a leisure type, you know? I'm just here all about business. Trying to, you feel me, stick to the rules and get to it, you know? Whoever can, they gotta go. And
how old are you, June?
I just turned 21.
You're 21.
Yeah.
Is this something you want to do for a long time?
I'm gonna for sure take my piece and disappear, I think. So probably for a little bit.
Because it's too dangerous?
Yeah, very.
Do you think coming on YouTube and doing a video is going to be trouble?
Yeah, I think so.
So here
yeah.
Now that's crazy, right? Now Mark just asked him if he thinks that coming on YouTube and doing videos is going to be trouble. And the young cat said, yeah. Boy, if this ain't the definition of a crash out, man, I don't know what is, man. And it's just unfortunate because whatever you may think of these young people, the bottom line is right now they're young. They got their whole future ahead of them if they take care of themselves and be wise about what they're doing. But, man, it's crazy how clout do, right? You know, clout is so addictive and attractive that, man, people don't even think about what they risking for the sake of clout. The young man just pretty much admitted that he kind of anticipates trouble coming from doing this interview. It's crazy, but let's continue.
I think so.
And these young ladies they're not girlfriends of yours.
You can ask them. I want to ask them.
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
But you're business partners.
Yeah.
But by giving June all the money you make, do you have anything saved away?
Yeah.
You do. So if you decide you have to leave and go to college tomorrow, you'd have some money saved up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I have one.
You have one?
No,
Yeah, no
I have
kids.
none.
And you could tell, like, you know, with these young ladies, man, they just freestyling with the answers best they can, bless their heart, especially the one on the right. But, you know, like I said, me, myself, I would never do something like this. But for somebody like him that chooses to do this, at the very least, if you're going to do this crazy shit, you know, coach the young ladies. You know, have them watch different interviews that are similar to this one and point out the things that you don't want them to do and let them know the things that you do want them to do. You know, come into the interview with some sort of half-ass game plan at least, man. Like as best you can. Like he should have coached them to a certain extent before they came in here because, you know, he don't even know what's going to come out their mouth and how dangerous that could be for him and for themselves. So, you know, it's just, you know, a huge, huge lack of wisdom, man, when it comes to this interview. But let's continue.
How did you get into it? Princess, you you were approached by June the same way?
No, I've been working. How did me? You know, before I was working, I was a renegade, and then June was like sweating a bitch, and then I chose that.
Now, how did I know you was a renegade? How did I know that you came from the Church of Renegades, the Temple of Renegades? How did I know that? You know what I mean? Tell me you was a renegade without telling me that you was a renegade. You know what I mean? Now, you notice when Mark asked the question if they got money saved up, the chick on the right that's doing the talking right now, she says she did have some money saved up. Now, even though I think that's some bullshit, the one on the right, the one on the left, she didn't say nothing. She didn't even answer that question, But like I said, man, it seemed like the one on the left is more into the June cat than the one on the right. The one on the right is kind of just, riding along for the situation because the situation is probably better with them than it was by herself. But pay attention to what she about to say next.
Pretty much that's it.
It's crazy how some of the pimps will behave with the girls that are renegades on the street. They'll be so aggressive.
Yeah.
It's almost like criminal how they treat them.
Renegades.
But they don't touch them. They don't touch them. But it's pretty funny to watch.
They have them running around.
Yeah, they're chasing them down the street and everything. The girls are in high heels and
falling down.
It's some crazy behavior.
Most definitely.
How do you know this, Mark? Do you frequent Figueroa Street? You know what I mean? Are you a client over there? It's funny how Mark, he just know a lot of details about, the activities and the goings on streets like Figueroa Street. You dig? Well, let's continue.
Blaze wild place.
Yeah, it really is. Is that anything that you've done before?
Sweater hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my fair share, I would say.
Do you only look for Hispanic women?
I would say, for me, I don't discriminate. Whatever might catch my eye a little bit, whatever might make me think. I might see a little something about her. I'm like, let me go, knock at her, see what she about.
What kind of qualities do you look for in a girl?
She gotta have a little body yaddy, you feel me, pretty face. I gotta see where her mind at. Cause a lot of hoes be out of pocket, I might not know what type of folks she got, how he got her wired up. So.
And drugs are a part of your lives or no?
Mm-mm.
No drugs?
No drug. Weed.
Yeah. That's not even a drug down there.
You feel me? Yeah, I keep it sober, I don't like doing none of that druggy stuff or under the influence of anything.
Now, if that's true, then, more power to him. At least the young man, see, like I said, I didn't want to do this review in the way that a lot of y'all probably expected, man. Y'all probably just expected me to roast Lil June, man. But, my thing is I can't control who decides to be in the game and whatnot. But what I focus on what's within my control. And what's within my control is to give game, for people that may be in these types of situations so that they know how to handle themselves and protect themselves with some game, right? That's what my objective is. See, I see y'all in the chat, man. I see y'all in the comments like, nah, man, roast him, man. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. He ain't really, he ain't really gave me no hell of a reason to roast him, man. I don't want to be the old man that just, pointing his finger at these youngsters like, oh, you youngsters, y'all this and y'all that. I don't want to be the old man in the rocking chair, man, talking shit about the youngsters, man. I want to be the elder P in the game that the youngsters could look to and say, okay, man, Free's gonna give us some game, man. That's who I am, man. Now I will roast certain people, especially if they give me a reason to, you know what I mean? But I just be realistic, man, and I'm not just somebody on the internet that don't never be outside and just be roasting people from the from a hidden location and I don't never show my face and all that type of stuff. Nah, man, Freeze really be outside, man. And I be rubbing elbows with all kind of people. And, you know, you never know. I may run into this guy, you know, somewhere. It's just, you just never know, because I be outside. And apparently he be outside too. You know what I mean? When I say I be outside, I don't mean, I go to Walmart and back to the crib, or, you know, I go to the grocery store and back to the crib, or to the gym and back to the crib. No, I be outside, man. I be in the streets rubbing elbows with people, man. You know, so I don't, you know, like I said, he didn't give me a reason to roast him. You know, now other people who done been on here, yeah, I probably would have roasted him if I was doing this. But, you know, like I said, it's a lot to learn from this situation, man. And that's my main objective. Of course, I'll be funny when it's necessary, and I'll roast, you know, when it's called for. But more than anything, man, I want to give y'all some game, and I want people to learn, because, man, that shit ain't no fun when you sitting in a jail cell and you don't know what the outcome gonna be, and you around a bunch of hard leg, funky ass niggas, and you know, you don't know how long you gonna be there, man, and you know that these people is at your neck. So if I could give some information to help people prevent that, then that's what I'm gonna do, man. So yeah, but let's continue.
While working or whatnot, or at all in general.
So you guys will sleep during the day and work all night? Or do you work days?
Work day shift and night shift.
When do you sleep?
When we come back from our night shift.
Which is what? Till like, sometimes it's like 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we'll take breaks.
Tell me about the tricks.
But lately it's been janky out there. The tricks been like getting a little rough.
Hey, that's how you know somebody from California, man. When you hear somebody say janky, you know her ass probably ain't never left the West Coast. Bless her heart. You know what I mean? Janky, that's our shit. That's how we talk. But let's continue.
Trying to kidnap girls or like rape them. I don't know.
Has anything like that ever happened to you guys?
Before, no, but like the past month, the trick's been acting like a little more rough and stuff. And they're trying to, you know.
They be trying to lowball too.
Yeah.
And having somebody like June on your side, does that help you in those situations?
Yeah, I just call him whenever I'm in a little situation.
And what do you do?
And I can't see what's in the girl on the left's hand, but the girl on the right, y'all know I'm talking shit. This is the first thing I'm gonna talk shit about. Y'all see what she got in her hand? That vape. That vape probably ain't left her hand since she bought that thing, man. She probably went to sleep with that joint, woke up with that joint, took a shower with that joint, sat on the toilet with that joint, did a date with that joint. You know what I mean? Back in the days, they had My Buddy and Kid Sister dolls, right? This is like the My Buddy doll for the bitch. This is like the Kid Sister, wherever I go, she goes. You know what I mean? That's what that is right there, man. I just had to point that out because, you know, y'all know how I feel about them vapes, man. I can't stand that shit. I just can't stand vapes, man. But, oh, shit. Let's continue.
And you come over and do what?
Well, we haven't had a situation.
I'm sorry?
We haven't had a situation like that.
Okay.
You know, I think I would say I'm on it. And, you know, I speak with, like, the fellow P's or whatever, you know. And we be chopping it, exchanging it. They be letting me know, like, oh, I see you out here and stuff.
Do the P's kind of look out for each other, or are they in competition with each other?
That's a gray area right there. I would say
Just some of both?
some of both for sure. Some don't, you know, like that. You know, partnership, partnership. Some's just, you know, really out here trying to, you know, get a bitch. Like,
Yeah, you know, a lot of people from his generation, you know, they feel threatened when they be around pimps and therefore they don't really be in pimp circles like that. You know what I mean? But one thing I will be honest about, like I said, I ain't got no criticism for his ism or lack thereof or whatever the case may be. But one thing I will be honest about is that by him being a Mexican dude, you know, he gonna get a hard time just based on that alone. You know, I could just imagine, you know, a pimp running into him at the nail shop with them bitches and roasting them in front of them 304s and all that type of shit. Or, you know, if they see them, both of them down on the blade and they know that he's they folks, you know, I could see them, you know, dirty macking him to his own bras and all that type of shit. I know for sure he going through a lot of that, especially after this. Oh man, tonight when they get down, oh bitch, that's who you messing with? That's who you down for? Oh man, come on now. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't gonna say certain things. But I could just about imagine what they saying, man, to these chicks, man, just based on the fact that he messing with them or that they messing with him. But he definitely gonna catch the blues on Fig tonight after this, you know, after everybody see this interview. Hold on. This interview came out this morning and it's already on pretty much at 80,000 views. It might touch that Hyundai before 24 hours of it being out. Yeah, man. These two right here, if they get seen on Fig tonight, I know they gonna get the socks sweated off of them. And shit, he better not take their ass to Western because he might get bumped off on that Western, man. You know what I mean? Because, you know, on that Fig, you know, it's a lot of cats that I say is like cooked on both sides, man. You know, one side, you know, they cooked on the gang banging, and then on the other side, they kind of like halfway cooked on the pimping, you know. But yeah, they cooked on both sides and on that Fig, man. But you know, on that Western, in that Hollywood, in that Koreatown, you know what I mean? It's a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit more saucier over there. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more sharky in the waters over there, man. You know, so he might get bumped off over there if his game ain't tight, man, you know. So, but I don't know, man. That's one thing I do know. By him being a Mexican dude in the game, yeah, I already know Cass is giving him a hard time. It's going to be some cats that if they take a liking to him, they'll be cool with him. But for the most part, I know he catching the blues over there. But let's continue.
They'll sweat all night and leave with nothing. I just wonder where their time go. Some will be like, you babysitting a hoe. Some be like, okay, I see you, you know, some real game out here. They keep it peasy, you know, they keep it game and they'll go about their business.
And Figueroa Street is definitely the big leagues compared to Long Beach or Pomona or Long Beach. What's the street in Long Beach that the track down there?
Long Beach Boulevard?
No, there's Long Beach Boulevard, but down in the city of Long Beach, there's another track, PCH, I think. Mm. And then San Diego and Vegas and all that. But Figueroa seems to be the busiest track.
The hot spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely I would say that's number one for, you know.
How's Vegas compare?
It depends. Like, you know, you playing the track or you might be in a casino. It's good money, though. But Fig, I definitely went home with heavy pockets for sure.
So the ladies will pick up a guy, take him they'll do car dates or motels, or what do they do?
Yeah, stuff like that, both, I would say.
And see, this again, like I said, man, these type of interviews are never wise, man. It's completely unwise to do some shit like this. I highly and strongly discourage anybody that's in the streets to get on platforms like Soft White Underbelly, Vlad TV, No Jumper, because these people don't care about your freedom. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care how you put yourself in harm's way by doing the interview. They don't care how you jeopardize your freedom and your livelihood, well-being by doing these interviews, man. So they going to make you real vulnerable doing these types of interviews, and especially with asking questions like this. So what are they doing? Are they doing car dates? Are they in the hotel? Like, come on, man. This shit is crazy. And then he's answering the questions. The chicks didn't even answer the question for themselves. You know, he's answering the questions like, yeah, you know, stuff like that, a little bit of both. It just ain't wise, man. But let's continue.
Yeah.
Do you guys carry anything to protect yourselves?
I just carry a pepper spray and a pocket knife.
Pepper spray will do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, chick acting out. But I'm already, you know, I'm in the cut already. I'm watching. Like, there's not a time I'm not watching.
Are you like so if Princess picks up a guy, or a guy picks up Princess, and takes her off to a motel, you are doing what? You're following them?
Yeah. I'm on
Hold on.
And you know what room they're in, and
everything.
does she leave a phone out so she can?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Hey.
And see, again, like I said, this is just unwise. So he let it be known. Now I do kind of take a jab at him a little bit, you know what I mean? Because he pretty much let it be known that he doing some Mexican pimping, you know what I mean? He true to his roots with this pimp shit, you know what I mean? Because he's let it be known he got his taco stand set up, and you know he's watching from a close distance. You know what I mean? He definitely doing some Mexican pimping for sure. Then he following the broad to the room when she do a date and all that. He just said out his mouth that's what he doing, man. So yeah, it's definitely some Mexican pimping going on, man. Shout out to the Mexican people. You dig?
Not 1 second, you know. Safety purposes, but you know, I don't do none of that fag shit either. So, you know, I might get something, a little ring in my ear about the whole. I'm gonna be like, hold on. You know, I'm like, you gotta go.
Are there certain tricks you guys just will reject? What do you see in a guy that makes you go forget it?
When there's more than one guy in the car.
That'll do it.
What about you?
I don't get in no kidnapper vans. And not
What's a kidnapper van? A white van with no windows?
I don't get in
No van.
no van.
They be sliding in a big van with cages and some weirdo stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Asking for a date and whatnot.
This is a dangerous job you guys have.
Yeah, for sure.
There's people getting murdered down there and shot and all kinds of stuff.
Every day.
But you know what Mark ain't gonna point out is that, you know, it's in gangland. So yeah, it's a lot of that stuff going on, but a lot of that stuff that takes place, while some of it does have to do with people in the game, the majority of it doesn't have to do with people in the game because, like I said, it's gangland. You know, that whole Figueroa runs through several different war zones, right? It's, you know, it's different hoods all up and down Figueroa. There's you know, from the 30s past the hundreds, you know what I mean? Every part of Figueroa is a different gang territory, and a lot of them don't get along with each other. Most of them don't get along with each other. You dig? So yeah, that's what a lot of that have to do with, and not necessarily the game. But let's continue.
It's a crazy lifestyle. Did you guys, Yasmin and Princess, did you have dreams of doing something else with your life?
Yeah.
I mean, you're still young, so anything is possible. Do you look at this as a temporary thing that you're doing just to get to somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm just in it for the win right now till I upgrade, you know, for my lifestyle right now.
Is June helping you elevate, as you guys call it?
I'm about to get an apartment.
Oh, you are? That's nice.
You know, you never know. You know, she's looking for an upgrade probably. Who knows who might come across her and shit. We'll see what happens. Until then, you know.
In the law, the police tend to leave you guys alone, it seems, for the most part.
And I gotta say, speaking of upgrade, man, I'm just tired of people using that terminology, man. You know, especially in the game. And you know, it's like I say all the time, man. It's not enough conversation about evolution. But see, that's another thing too. There's a problem with these type of interviews. Not only is it unwise because of the danger and the vulnerability that comes with doing these interviews, but at the same time, Mark ain't finna drop no game on these people that he's interviewing. You know, these youngsters right here that's doing this interview, man, Mark ain't about to get him no game on you know, wise decisions that they can make with their money. And even though, you know, obviously Mark ain't from the streets, So he can't give him no game about pimping and 304ing. But I'm pretty sure that Mark is well off financially. And I would imagine that he's, done some wise things and made some wise investments with his money. So, I'm pretty sure it's some good game that he could give some of the guests that he has on his show in regards to that. But man, Mark, like I said, it's like watching animals at the zoo, man. You don't want nothing bad to happen to him, but you ain't gonna do nothing to help the animal at the same time, whether or not it's within your power to. And Mark ain't, he ain't trying to really help these people. He giving them what they want in terms of clout because, as you can see, where's he at now? Yeah, Mark got over 6 million subscribers, so it's a huge platform. So in regards to clout, they gonna get what they want as far as that goes. But he ain't dropping no game on these people, man. But let's continue.
If you do it correctly and safely. Yeah.
You've been arrested before? The other day?
Me?
Any of you? Have the cops given you a hard time?
They were just trying to question us. That was it. I've never been arrested for prostitution or nothing. I've got tickets out there. That's it.
You get a ticket for what?
For hoeing.
Does your family know that you're doing this?
No, but after this, they probably gonna know.
They're probably gonna find out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna hit it good with this one. No.
But I'm grown, so I ain't tripping.
How about you, Yasmin?
They know.
They know?
Yeah, they just don't like it, but
No parent's gonna like this.
Yeah.
And June, what do your parents think you're doing for a living?
I would say they know too.
They know too?
Yeah. They're just like, I guess.
As a Hispanic family, are they like confused as to what you?
And this is what I will say, right? Because all of them are Latina and Latino, right? Hey, and one thing I'm already knowing, they families hate this shit because that's one thing I'll give props to about the Latin community. They some working ass people. If you are the type, because I done had Mexican 304s before, right? And, Central American 304s and things of that nature. If you not the type of person that get up and go to work every day, especially like if your family, if the Latinos whose family, like they might be first generation American and their parents was born in, Central or South or America or Mexico, hey man, they don't like anything other than getting up and going to work and busting your ass all day, putting in at least 40 hours a week, if not 50 and 60 and plus hours a week. Yeah, they don't like that shit, man. So I already know young June and young Yasmin on the left, whose families know that this is what they doing. Well, I know they peoples can't stand that shit. Especially, like I said, if they families came from, other countries, like if they parents was born in Mexico or something like that, or Central America or wherever, the other girls is from. I know June said he Mexican, but the other two, I don't know if they Mexican or not, but they definitely Latinas. And I know they family can't stand that shit, because looking at it from their perspective, they go through a lot of shit to get up here. You dig? And some of them pay a lot of money to get their family members up here, man. I remember I had a chick that was from Central America, and before she got with me, she had her sister. She sent for her sister to come from Central America to the U.S. And man, she paid a lot of money to get her sister up through them channels and up into the States, man. So my point is, they make a lot of sacrifices and a lot of people don't make it. You know what I mean? I remember I was talking to this one cat, man, that was from Honduras, and he was telling me how he grew up, and he had a real harsh childhood, right? And he was telling me about when he came to the States. He came in through Texas, and he was saying it was like a little stretch. He was traveling with this, like he had a friend that came from Honduras, you know, all through the other countries, up through Mexico, all the way up to the top of Mexico, and then when it came time to get to Texas, they had a little stretch where they had to swim. And his homeboy who came all that way with him, while they was swimming, he watched his homeboy drown in front of him. You know what I mean? He made it to Texas, but his homeboy didn't. His homeboy drowned on the way. He got weakened. He couldn't make it. You know what I mean? So that's just one of many stories and examples of, you know, the type of sacrifices that, you know, Latinos make to get into the U.S. They go through some shit, man. So just imagine them having parents that went through some hell of a shit to get here, you know what I mean, just for their baby to end up being in the game, you know what I mean? They ain't trying to hear none of that shit, man. I already know they parents can't stand that shit. But let's continue.
Or they understand it?
Nah, I actually got like some black family, like.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm 7th generation LA, like I'm not from you know, the motherland or what you might call it, Mexico and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm all for like the raza and shit, you know?
Oh, so you're part black.
Yeah, I would say, you know? And believe it or not, when I hit like the station or camp, I really don't mix with the homie card that much. It's always tended to be like, you feel me? Yeah. So they not confused. They get it, you know, they gamed up. They're just like, you know, what can you do? Like, do your shit, I would say.
Were there pimps that you looked up to when you were young?
Well, he let it be known that his parents is from the U.S., so his parents probably ain't as traditional as other families, you know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. He said they, you know, they don't give him too much of a hard time. So it is what it is, but let's continue.
Or maybe now?
Nah, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of good, you know, pimps, players, whatever you might call it, Max, all that, all around. You know, growing up in the early 2000s, I feel like there was a select few, probably I couldn't name one.
Yeah, you're too young to realize how much this game has changed.
Yeah. I could, like, admit that, you know?
Yeah.
For sure, most definitely, like, you know, who am I type shit.
All right, hold on. Now, listen, man. I got to get on y'all case a little bit. It's 306 of y'all up in here, but only 190 of y'all wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain. Come on, man. I feel like Boosie. Come on, dog. Listen, man. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain, man. Hit that like button. It don't cost you nothing, man. Hit that icon. It look like that right there. You dig? Let me hydrate my game one time. And let me acknowledge some peoples before we continue. You dig? The Dapper, my loved one, appreciate you, man, with the $10 holla, you dig? Glory to the game, man. The consistency is very much appreciated, P. Sending peace and blessings, and as always, long live the one and only Sinful the P, Philip Brandon Gilmore. You dig? Dapper, man, appreciate you. Mike Lowry, good looking with the $10 holla, man. A whole bunch of ones beat a whole bunch of nuns, in the words of Sinful the P. You dig? Yes, indeed. And once again, Mike Lowry, good looking with the other $10 holla. You dig? C. Beezy, good looking with the $2 holla. Free's gonna show Pedro how it's really done. Yeah, man. Good look. I'm showing everybody how it's really done, man. You know, like I said, I ain't gonna pick on Young June, man. He ain't really gave me no reason to, cause trust me, there's plenty of people that give a pimp a reason to roast their ass. But he ain't said nothing too outlandish that made me really want to roast him. I just want to, you know, get a game some straightening. You dig? So, cause it's definitely a lot to learn from this interview. But yeah, appreciate you, man. Everything. Good looking with the $20 holla. You dig? That hot dub. Top show P. Enjoying the show. You funny as hell. I'd like to hear your take later on the current Dr. Umar situation and how he is having an internet show down with his baby mamas and daughters. Huh? I'm not familiar with that. How can I consult you? I ain't doing consultations right now, but, and I know I've said this before, excuse my pimping, but I do plan on doing consultations in the future. And when I do, I'm gonna set everything up to where y'all will, you know, be able to access it. But I appreciate you. And Carlos Enriquez, as always, good looking with the $2 holla. You dig? But yeah, I'm not hip to Dr. Umar's show or what he got going on, but now that you mentioned it, I'm going to probably take a look at it and see what's going on with it. All right.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Yeah, man, getting back to this game that we never left, man. Let's get back to this review of young Juan with his young ladies, Yasmin and Princess. You dig?
You can't really be as flashy as they used to be.
Yeah.
Pimps used to be very flashy.
Yeah.
But I think the law has made it difficult for them.
And, you know, the gang members out there, they might get you, you know?
That's right.
They seen it, she's seen it, you know, we've seen it multiple times. Like, you know, them boys bounce out in the shiesty and that foreign. Yeah, it's not no ism, you know? They gonna get you.
At least he's aware of that, because he definitely ain't lying, man. For the young P's and participants of the game that might be watching, this moving around that California, man, from Southern California to Northern California and all in between, man. That's one thing that I believe was stimulated by the pandemic, man. You know, the government was giving a lot of people a lot of free money, and they got a taste of that free money, and that was for a lot of young people in California. You know, that was their first time touching that kind of money at one time. So when the water was cut off, and, you know, there was no more supply, and they still wanted to get high off of, you know, the social status and the you know, everything that comes with having that kind of money, you know, they gonna get it from somewhere. So yeah, a lot of cats been getting booked, you know, in that California, man. Really a little bit of everywhere, but especially in California, man. You got to be real careful. You know, what gas station you pulling up and getting gas from, what store you hopping out at, and all that type of stuff. You know, you've always had to be careful in California, man. But now, as far as the jacking, jacking probably at an all-time high around there, man. So he ain't lying about that, man. You got to be careful.
What do you like about this lifestyle that you guys have? Any of you? You like the freedom? You like the hours? You like the
Availability.
The fast money?
Fast money.
The fast money, of course. That's really it.
Do you ladies feel like you're doing all the work and June is just like sitting back and collecting?
No.
No, because at the end of the day, he's right there watching us, up all night with us, protecting us, you know, making sure we're good.
Yeah, you know, June got his taco stand up, man. You know, and his sombrero on. He definitely doing some Mexican pimping. You know, he watching their every move. You know, but at least he, you know, apparently from the way they talking, you know, he making sure that they safe. So I can't give him too much of a hard time because of that. But yeah, the babysitting thing, man. You know, that ain't really how the game go. But you know. That's this well, I ain't even gonna say it's the new wave because you've always had Mexican pimps. You know, it ain't a new phenomenon and it's not new terminology, you know, for people to Mexican pimp. So but yeah, he definitely doing a little bit of that. But let's continue.
If anything, he's risking himself because the cops and, you know.
He's much more in danger of getting a long prison sentence than you guys are.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll get maybe a night if that.
Huh.
And he'll get 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Not going to happen?
Nah. But that is, you know, it's a heavy jacket to carry, you know, for, you know, what we talking about and stuff.
Yeah, you got to be very discreet.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you know, entertainment and stuff, YouTube purposes and stuff.
So we're saying that this is just for entertainment purposes, just to cover your ass a little bit?
You know? Yeah.
And you see how Mark is, man. Oh, so you're saying that this is for entertainment purposes, just to cover your ass a little bit? Like, he really just do not care about feeding people to the wolves, man, or, you know, people putting their head in the lion's mouth. And, you know, kind of seem like he get a little humor out of it too. You seen what the boy just said, for entertainment purposes only, even though, you know, if them people is watching, they don't give a damn what you say as far as entertainment purposes and all that type of shit. They see you in living color with two young ladies up there that I'm pretty sure can be seen at any given time, you know, down and around, jumping in and out of cars and whatnot, you know, 3-0 fold up outside. And they see you on this video with them and they letting it be known that you they peoples. Yeah, man, they don't care about you saying that this is for entertainment purposes only. But, you know, it's bad enough that that's the case, but to add insult to injury, you know, Mark is like, oh, are you saying, so you're just saying that to cover your ass a little bit? As if to say, yeah, that shit really don't mean nothing, what you saying? Mark is cold-blooded, man, but let's continue.
All for good, the content and stuff like that.
Just so they can't use this in court.
Yeah, you know, entertainment purposes, YouTube, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at Mark talking about some, yeah, sure, buddy, yeah. Whatever you say, man. Cold-blooded, man.
Have you guys had crazy things happen to you out there?
A lot.
Like what?
Yeah.
Give me an example of what kind of stuff happens out there.
Like these aggressive tricks. Some of them don't like, you know, the time we give them for a certain amount of money and, you know, they'll start getting aggressive or whatever.
They're mostly on drugs or drunk, right?
Nah, not really.
No?
I mean, like here and there, yeah, but, you know, not really, but it is common.
And being a renegade without a pimp for you two ladies, is that an option or is that just too dangerous?
No, that's never an option.
No?
That's
Why
too
not?
dangerous.
You see they different responses. That's why I said from the beginning, man, the little chick on the left, I think her name is Yasmin, and the one on the right is Princess. The little chick on the left, man, that's why I said that you could tell that she's more down for the June cat. You know what I mean? As opposed to Princess on the right, she's just kind of like, you know, utilizing the situation. Because look what their responses are when Mark asks, you know, is renegading an option? Just look at how they respond.
And being a renegade without a pimp for you two ladies, is that an option or is that just too dangerous?
No, that's never an
That's
option.
No?
That's
Why
too
not?
dangerous.
You see how the chick on the left, she immediately hurry up. No, that's not. Hell no, that ain't no option. And her, she kind of like second guessed her answer, but still followed. She like stutter stepped with it, but still followed through with it. It's like, it's too dangerous. Like, in other words, I would probably be a renegade if it wasn't so dangerous, but because being a renegade is so dangerous, you know what I mean? That's why I got with June, as opposed to the chick on the left. She like, nah, hell no. Being a renegade, what? Never.
I mean, I used to renegade it, but when I was a renegade, nobody knew because I didn't tell anybody my business, and they didn't really know. So,
Were you making more money then?
yeah, probably like 2 bands, 3 bands.
A night?
And see, I thought she was gonna say that earlier when she was saying that she was a renegade, but she just said it now. But listen to what she just said. She made it seem as though she was making more money as a renegade than what she's making with this June cat. And in true renegade fashion, she putting a whole lot of yeast on her numbers. She putting a whole lot of inflation, a whole lot of helium, whole lot of air in her numbers. You know what I mean? She really pumping it up. You dig? You know damn well that you was not, as a renegade, making no 2-3 bands consistently. No, you wasn't. You wasn't doing that. Stop it. Because, to a renegade, if a renegade did really have action at making that kind of money, because they praise the money over everything, money is like more important to them than, any person in their life, or what people can offer them and what people mean to them. For most people, money is more important than anything. It's money over everything, right? If she really was making 2-3 bands a day renegading, she wouldn't be with June. Like I said, she's with June because it's something about the situation that's convenient for her. But like I said, renegades, they gonna put a lot of yeast and a whole lot of helium on them numbers. They gonna really blow that shit up to be bigger than what it really is. You know what I mean? But let's continue.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Tax free, that's pretty good money.
I could just tell when somebody's disinterested in the actual people, and they just there, for the benefit. And then too, I don't know, man. It could be a situation. I ain't trying to give this cat a hard time, but I know how that clout demon operate. I know what people who are addicted to clout will do, what drastic measures they'll take, right? So I wouldn't be too surprised if, this cat, he just recently got the idea to get in the game, and then he might know he might have seen these chicks somewhere, don't really know them too well, and was like, hey, I got the opportunity to get on this soft white underbelly, you know what I mean? Y'all should get on there with me and pretend like y'all my hoes. And, because all of them got the same thing in common, they all want to, benefit from some clout. They might have been like, hell yeah, we'll do that. You know what I mean? And he took them to the Slauson swap meet or to the alley downtown LA, and you know what I mean, got them some little, skimpy little outfits, and they was like, yeah, we'll do that. You know what I mean? Or and they probably ain't really active like that, or they probably really was active, and that's how he was campaigning. That's how he got their attention. He probably rolled the blade and seen their ass down and was like, hey, little mama. And then, they put their head down and try to act like they in pocket. And he was like, no, listen, I ain't trying to sweat you. You know what I mean? Listen, I got an opportunity. And then that, open their ears up, and they like, opportunity? What you mean opportunity? And then not just that, but, a lot of chicks is going to get out of pocket with him anyway, just based on the fact that he Mexican. Even if he trying to act like he's some pimping and stuff like that, and he might not really be no pimping, whether or not he is or whatever the case may be, chicks is gonna get out of pocket with him just based on the fact that he's Mexican. You know what I mean? So this could be a situation where he was riding a blade, and these two just so happen to be the two that agreed to it and obliged him on this proposition of getting on this show, and them getting some clout out of it. But it I don't know, especially the chick on the right. It don't really seem like, because even when Mark asked how they met, she was like, let me see, how did we meet? Bitch don't even remember how they met. You know what I mean? At least the one on the left kind of had her story a little bit better together. She was like, yeah, we met at a party, then we started texting, and then it just went from there. The one on the right, she just like, I don't know, like I said, man, it seemed like she ain't even really down with the situation or down with him like that. You know what I mean? She just along for the benefit of the situation, and the benefit might just be that, she knows she gonna get some clout from being on this big platform, and that's why she's there. But I don't know, man. It don't really seem like they really locked in like that. But that's just me, though. Let's continue.
Do you guys have any regrets in your lives, in your young lives?
Yeah.
I think we all do.
What are some of your regrets?
Like about being in the game or just general?
Anything. Did you guys finish high school?
No, I wish I finished high school.
So maybe finishing high school would be something you might have wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I lost out on time. I would say time. Because, like, from 15 to, like, 18, I was locked up and stuff. And so I kind of missed a lot of my time. Like, I feel something on my chest about that, whatever. I feel like I missed out. What I could have been, what I could have did,
What would you have liked to have done?
I feel like I could have got an early start. Like, I could have been way different. Like, if I would have just stayed down, I was too loose with it, too hot-headed, like, not thinking right. So it cost me, like, 4 years.
Too impatient to make money?
Yeah. I wasn't, like, keeping the game related, I was going a little crazy with it, and that bit me in that.
In the time you did, that was for what?
Sold a deadly weapon. Yeah. So that was crazy. They tried to certify me because I was like young at that time to charge me as an adult, but luckily, like, I had to spend some money or whatnot, and yeah, it was cool.
And see, it'd be stuff like that people with that background, that's why the game is so attractive to a lot of people coming from, the rougher parts of California, because, especially if you the type of person that kind of got your way with the ladies, and chicks is trying to mess with you, it could be a situation like that, where, that's how a lot of cats get in the game, man. It's somebody that's already active, that come across paths with them, and want to take them to the Build a Pimp workshop, and put some pimp arms and pimp legs and a pimp body and a pimp head on them, and build them into a pimp. So he might be a product of the Build a Pimp workshop. You just never know. But people that come from the life of robbing and gang banging and all that type of stuff, the game just looked real attractive to them because it's smoother, and in their mind, they not looking at it the way a pimp is gonna look at it, but they thinking like, man, I just kick back, and just because this girl like me, she gonna give me all her money. Cool, I'm with that. You dig? But obviously, it's much more detailed than that. But let's continue.
Ended up going up to state, getting shipped out. Did like a 6 to 12 month program, on the bunks in the dorm. And yeah, came back home.
Do you think living a square life where you have a 9-to-5 job or something like that just is not in the cards for you?
I mean, we all been there, right? You feel me? So I would say, I wouldn't say the door's closed, but you never really the same, you know?
The money's too good now.
Yeah. And for anybody that ever fell off and like want to admit it, you know, it's never the same. You try to go another way. I feel like if you put some time into it, personally speaking, I feel like it don't click like other stuff. But of course, you can put your time to it, you know, dedication, just slow down, go do the 9 to 5, you know, be a square again.
Tell me about the gold teeth.
And see, you know, him mentioning about going back to a 9 to 5 and doing some square shit again, you know, again, like I said, because of their culture as Latinas and Latinos, you know, that's the culture that they come from. I'm already knowing that the households that they grew up in, you know, if they parents wasn't gang banging or you know, selling dope or anything like that, like if they come from Paisa type families, they grew up seeing somebody going to work every day. So again, and then even if they did come up, you know, with gang banging family members, you know what I mean, a lot of people that grow up in the streets got some kind of Paisa type family, you dig? So I'm pretty sure that, you know, the idea of, you know, working ain't unfamiliar to them. Working a 9 to 5, you dig? So, but then, you know, that just lets you know that much more about how they view the game, how they looking at the game. They kind of just see the game as something that, you know, they can just step in and out of when they feel like it, and, you know, benefit from it and don't really contribute much to it. You dig? Just kind of like use the game, milk the game without being a blessing to the game. You dig? But let's continue.
Good.
10 on top, 10 on bottom, you know, 10K. I went up north to get them too. I took a little trip. Yeah, they're cool. Like $2,000, like $2,300.
For all of them?
Yeah.
Really? Do you guys think prostitution should be legalized?
Yeah, I feel like it's a regular job. You know, we're getting paid, we're working our hours. So.
You think
Boy, these legs is telling some different stories, boy. You see, like I said, the one on the left, the one who I said she seemed like she more interested in the June cat and more down for him than the chick on the right. And it's funny because when I was looking at the vape and I'm listening to how she talk, I'm thinking to myself like, man, this chick got some habits, man, that ain't cool. And the legs is kind of like looking like confirmation that, yeah, this chick on the right, man, she might got some habits that ain't cool, man. You know, she probably doing a little more than she should with them tricks. You dig? But let's continue.
make the same money if it was legal?
I feel like we probably have to pay taxes if they made
That's
it.
right. You have to pay taxes. That's one
It's
big.
gonna change the game for sure.
And, you know, at least for the sake of the interview, man, it would have just been nice if all of them, because, see, people don't be thinking, man. It would have been nice if all of them went and got, you know, this where they do the interview at is downtown LA, man. The alley ain't that far away, man. It's all kind of places downtown where you can get some shoes for the low. I don't know if bro just got out of jail or something, but what's up with the no shoelaces, man? And then these Air Force Ones, they look like, you know, I don't know, they look like you done worked on some cars in them or something, you know what I mean? When you on a platform that got over 6 million people subscribed to it, man, you got to make sure that your shoe game is in order. Now, it looks like, let me see. Yeah, it looked like they toe game ain't too bad. Look like they probably got their toes done recently. both of the young ladies, but you could have had them put on some nice heels, man, and went and got yourself a decent pair of shoes. I would have liked if you had even some cheaper shoes than the Air Force Ones. The Air Force Ones ain't hella expensive. These probably like $100, something like that. But even if you would have went and got some cheaper shoes that was clean or at least look brand new, you dig, and got the young ladies in some heels, man, that would have been cool, man. Like I said, people be so anxious for clout, they not thinking about every little detail that matters. Man, make sure that your shoe game is right. If you're going to be, this is like being on TV nowadays. YouTube is the new TV. Back in the days, if you knew that you was going to be on TV, man, you wasn't about to just be on there any old kind of way. Or like nowadays, if you was to go on Good Morning America or The View or any of them shows on TV that's big right now, you dig, you're not going to go on there any old kind of way, man. Hey, listen, man, get your shoe game right. You dig? Let's continue.
And how do you guys feel about this lifestyle? Yasmin and Princess, you enjoy these long hours, long days, long nights?
I have no complaints, so
It's all right. It gets tiring, but I gotta do what I gotta do at the end of the day to put food and clothes on my daughter.
And see, this is what I'm talking about, man. Like I said, it's just more and more indications that the chick on the left is more with it and more down for him than the chick on the right. You know what I mean? The chick on the right, she seemed like the type that if a trick pull up on her and say, hey, baby, you know what I mean? You ain't got to do this no more. Come on with me. I'm going to take care of you. She going to go for it. You know what I mean? The chick on the right, she seemed like she more down with the game and more down with the boy June. You dig? Because you see how she was like, I ain't got no complaints. She just young and fired up about the game. I ain't got no complaints. This one, she like, I get tired sometimes, but I just do what I got to do for my daughter. You know what I mean? She just kind of like doing it because, it's for lack of a better option. Whereas this one over here, it seemed like she sees this as the best option. Like she knows she could do other shit, but she really want to be in the game, though. She really want to be down. This one over here, not so much.
Back and mouth.
And June treats you well?
Yeah. He's never treated me in no type of way. Since I met him, he's always been respectful.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty good.
That's nice to hear.
I save them from a lot of stuff. They know it. And as far as me, like, I don't pop it that much. A lot of pimps, want to knock at the hoe. You can ask them. I didn't even approach them or none of that. You feel me?
And see, this is where the contradiction coming in. That's why, like I said, man, it's a vibe. It's an undertone between them. That's like he just pulled up on these bitches and was like, hey, let's do this interview, man. Look, this what we gonna do. Y'all gonna act like y'all my hoes, and we gonna get on this interview, and y'all gonna act like I'm your pimp, and we gonna do this thing, man. It's gonna be good for us. We gonna get some clout. We gonna get our followers up. We gonna get some views. People gonna be looking at it. We gonna move a whole bunch of eyeballs in our direction. Because look how they contradicting themselves. He just said that a lot of P's be popping it, but he don't be popping it like that. And you can even ask them, meaning ask both of these young ladies. I didn't even approach them. This is what he just said. Now, earlier in the interview, I wish I knew the timestamp, but earlier in the interview, when she was asked, how they met, she was like, let's see, how did we meet? Like, she didn't even remember. And then she just freestyled some shit. It was like, yeah, I was down on the blade, and he pulled up, and he was popping his shit, and he was sweating the bitch, and then I chose. Just made up a bullshit-ass story, man. That's why I say, man, this really smell like, a fabricated household, a fabricated scenario. You dig? So it really might be a situation where, they really not even in danger because, you can't go to jail for well, actually, nah, you can go to jail for impersonating a pimp. Let me correct that. Because there's some people that's locked up right now that was impersonating a pimp and got locked up as though they were really a pimp. But yeah, man, like I said, and he might really be aspiring to be, you know, a P. But as far as these young ladies, especially the one on the right, being his 304s, I just don't see it, man, because they just contradicted their whole coming together right there. The chick on the right say that he was popping it, he was sweating her blade. That's how she chose up with him. And then he just said that he didn't even approach neither one of them, and he don't be popping it. Let's continue.
Just need to get seen. I feel like more personally, get chose with my mouth closed type shit. I just need the hoe to see me, you know, get a good look at me, and I think I got action.
And see, man, you know, all these old cute, I gotta say this, man, because, you know, y'all know me, those of y'all who've been watching me, man, and y'all know I speak about that getting chose with your mouth closed shit. It's a lot of people that be on the internet promoting that shit. And yeah, sometimes you can get chose with your mouth closed, and you know, it can be all right. But at some point, man, hey, pimping, hey, you can't pimp with your mouth closed. You might talk about getting chose with your mouth closed, but one thing you cannot do is pimp with your mouth closed. So yeah, man, we get paid to speak, man, and we speak well. You know, any pimp that I know, man, is great at, you know, expressing himself vocally. So, you know, and then that sound good, getting chose with your mouth closed. But as I've told y'all different stories with myself before, man, hey, that getting chose with your mouth closed could be dangerous, because if your mouth is closed, you're not interviewing the broad like you need to as a pimp. If your mouth is closed, you're not asking the right questions that you need to ask to determine whether or not this is somebody that's even worth your while. You know what I mean? If your mouth is closed, you're not asking questions, you know, to figure out if this is somebody that mean you good or mean you harm. Whether or not this individual got your best interest at heart, and even if they mean they sell, you know, some people is a danger to they self. If you getting chose with your mouth closed, you might be accepting somebody that's a danger to they self, and if they're a danger to they self, they definitely gonna be a danger to you. You dig? So man, that shit sound good. It sounds slick. It sounds real good when you hear it. Like, damn, get chose with my mouth closed. Man, that sounds so cool. I think I'm gonna try that. And then you're going to get your head smacked off, you know what I mean? And you're going to be sick to your stomach when a judge give you some Buck Rogers numbers, you know what I mean? Tell you got to do 1,000,000 years and all that type of shit. Man, hell nah. But let's continue.
Yeah. True or not?
Mm-hmm.
See, even that bullshit. True or not? Look at this.
I just need the hoe to see me, you know, get a good look at me, and I think I got action. Yeah. True or not?
Man. Yeah, like I said, man, the more I break this shit down, man, it looked like they just met earlier today, man, and said, you know, let's go do this interview. We're going to get some clout, you know what I mean? And you see how earlier when Mark asked him if they family know what they doing, he said, yeah. The girl on the left said, yeah, but the girl on the right said no. But after this interview, they probably gonna know. She probably went back and explained to her family, like, look here, you know, that wasn't the real thing. You know, he gave me a few dollars to pretend like I was his 304, and that's what we did. But, you know, that's not really my lifestyle. I still work at, you know, Burger King. You know what I mean? I still do my nails on the side. She looked like she probably a little wannabe nail tech that do house calls and all that type of shit. And she let her family know that she's still doing that. And, you know, she not no 304. And, yeah. But this definitely I don't know, man. He might, it might be a real thing with the one on the left, but the one on the right, hell no. That is not his 304, man. The one on the right is not his 304. They done contradicted each other about how they met. You know what I mean? It smelled bogus. You dig? But let's continue.
What would you say is June's greatest strength? What quality does he have that makes him stand out?
Damn.
They put the Michael Jordan hang time on that answer. They like Michael Jordan. They stuck in the air with that shit. They hanging. They got some hang time.
Got him thinking.
Bruh,
They can't answer because they don't even know this nigga. Especially the chick on the right. She don't know what to say because she don't even know this dude. She just met him today. And ain't gave him a dime. Probably received some dimes for her time. You dig?
wait, can you say that again? What you just?
I think the answer is his goal.
And then look at her. Wait, can you say that again? That's why I said, man, she just seemed like she got some habits that ain't cool, man. Y'all seen what her legs look like, man. Her legs look like, like she done jumped out of cars and did the tuck and roll a few times, man. Her legs look like she done been shot with BB guns and had, cigarettes put out on her legs and all type of shit, man. Her legs got some stories to tell. They done been through it. And, she got that vape glued to her hand. And, I don't know, she just, the way she talking, and he asked a very simple question. Mark said, what are some strong qualities about June? And she sat there and thought for a minute, and she was like, wait a minute, can you repeat the question again? Like, damn, bitch, if you're that slow, you definitely can't, be no 304. You know what I mean? Because your brain got to work faster than that. That was like 5 miles per hour. You know what I mean? And the game is like 200 miles per hour. You dig? So you if you can't freestyle some shit like this, you know what I mean? Like we say all the time, man, as a 304, one of your positions, one of the hats that you wear is that of an actress. Your acting skills got to be on point. And her acting skills is terrible. Cuz she definitely is an actress in this video. But her acting skills is trash. You're fired.
Gold teeth.
And his ism. Like what he says, his ism.
Yeah, what I might, put into their ears a little.
Now, the one on the left, you know what I mean, she got a little bit better acting skills, you know what I mean? I think it's his ism. And then, she's smiling the whole time and, she don't look as doubtful. She look a little more confident when she speak. Her acting skills is a lot better than the one on the left, man. She a little bit more believable. You dig? She really getting her Hillary Swank on rather well. You dig? But the one on the right, acting skills, boo boo.
It's different than your folks,
Do you think you girls are brainwashed a little bit?
Definitely.
Brainwash? No.
I think I keep it very realistic and I keep it live,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I sell dreams or force, by choice, not by option.
How do you see it? Like these girls are going to be doing this anyway, and you're just here to help them, guide them, protect them?
Oh, most definitely, a hoe always looking for a safe haven. Not saying that that's the case here, but, a woman in this game most definitely gonna look for the next dude or whatnot. Ain't no thing about it.
So another pimp might come along and he's got something better to offer or something that
All the time.
that happens.
All the time.
And there's a choosing fee or a,
Exit fee, courtesy call,
what does an exit fee look like?
You feel me?
Hey, and this is the dumbest shit that I done heard some dumb shit in 2025 and the most recent years and shit like that. I've heard a lot of dumb shit come from people that claim to be participants in the game. But this has to be by far the dumbest shit that I have. Man, hold on. I need y'all to see me as I'm talking, man. Hold on, man. Listen, This whole theory about an exit fee, man, that is the dumbest shit that I have heard from anybody that's even acting like they in the game or anybody that's really in the game. Hey, man, that exit fee shit is the dumbest shit that I've heard. I can't think of anything dumber that I've heard than an exit fee. You know how stupid that is? You know how dumb that is? Like a broad that's messing with you and is a part of your household, she can't leave your household until she pay you an exit fee, and then she got to get a next cat a choosing fee. Like, that shit is it just sounds so stupid. You know what your exit fee gonna be? Thinking that you really finna be in the game and you charging every chick that want to blow up on you an exit fee. You know what your exit fee gonna be? Your exit fee gonna be some iron bracelets on your wrist, man. Your exit fee is gonna be watch your head getting in. You know what I mean? Your exit fee is gonna be your Miranda rights. You got the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. Yeah, these is gonna be your exit fees if your dumb ass keep moving around in the game thinking that you're gonna charge every chick that want to blow up on you and leave your household an exit fee. That's the dumbest shit in the world, man. I can't let nobody say no shit like that like it's cool. I can't let nobody think that that's like a real thing that you gonna be able to get away with moving around in the game and doing your thing. Man, that shit's stupid as hell. That's the dumbest shit I done heard, man. That really made the old man come out of me, man. These young niggas is stupid. Man, but let's continue, man. Shit, talking about a damn exit fee. That shit's so stupid.
You know, they might want to go, you know, choose up or, you know, fag off, whatnot. Whatever I see fit, you know, with my program to let the hoe go, I'm going to let her know, and then she going to hit the dough, you know?
See, this is where his acting skills is falling apart. You know what I mean? He can't even confidently give a definition of what an exit fee is. He kind of like freestyling the shit, but he don't even believe the shit that he's saying as he's saying it. You know what I mean? Like, he don't even know how to lie to himself good. But let's continue.
Say too much.
I get it. Yeah.
You don't want to say too much because you can't say too much, because if you really stop and think about it, you know that shit is just as dumb as it sounds. The exit fee.
It's hard for me, like, you know, we young, you know, we don't really come from nothing that much, like, you feel me, to be here saying this on film, you know, this first time shit, we don't do this shit, you know?
There's a lot of risk you're taking here.
Yeah, a lot of risk, like, for real, like you saying, you know? Everybody watching this gonna know, you know? They aware of it, we aware of it, like.
People want to criticize, but they don't realize it takes a lot of balls for you to sit in this chair and talk about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that the world can maybe learn a little bit, realize that maybe you guys came from probably families that didn't have a whole lot of.
The bottom.
You weren't getting a lot of support.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to climb your way up a little bit.
Most definitely.
And this is the fastest way to do it. This is the best hustle, right?
I would say, you know, I'm all for the game, good and bad.
Like I've said before, if there was a better hustle.
Man, this shit goofy as hell, man. You know, as we continue through this interview and it's almost over with, man, it just got sillier and sillier for me. You know, I came in unbiased, you know, and I ain't really said too much. I ain't poked too much about the fact that he ain't a black man and participate in the game. But you don't even need to make mention of that to see how goofy this is. But let's continue. It's almost over with.
Mowing lawns, you guys would be pushing lawnmowers.
Right, you know?
They was paying good.
But this pays better.
Yeah. And you know, you can't just be a pretty face, skinny waist no more. It's 2025. Every bitch want to be a hoe. Along with OnlyFans and Twitter, like, you gotta learn how to maneuver in the waters, because that trap not gonna come in. You can't just look cute no more. I would say. Anybody that could, you know, relate to me on that outfit would say the same thing.
June, what would you say is the most important thing you've learned in your 21 years?
Don't trust nobody. Always have a backup plan for a backup plan. For a backup plan.
Got it. All right. Yasmin, June.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, man, the more I watched, the first time I watched it earlier today, and shout out to Palm. I don't know if Palm is in here. I haven't seen Palm, but shout out to Palm because Palm is the one who brought this interview to my attention and put it on my mind to do this episode of Bring It to the Blade, man. But yeah, when I watched it earlier, I wasn't as attentive, obviously, as I am now. You know what I mean? Because I kind of like skimmed through it earlier, but now I was like really breaking it down in real time with y'all, right? But, horrible actors and actresses. The chick on the left. So this is what I think is going to be the future of these people, right? The chick on the left, if she keep tampering with the game and messing around, I could see her really getting knocked off by some real pimping and, really getting pimped on accordingly and, really being an asset to the game and the household that she's a part of, and blessing the game while being a blessing to the game at the same time. That's what I can foresee for the chick on the left. The chick on the right, the future ain't looking too bright. You dig? I don't really see too many good things. I see calamity. I see a lot of bad choices. I see renegading. I see boyfriends. I see turning tricks into the boyfriend. I see addictions, bad habits. I see instability. It's just her future really don't look too bright. The best thing that she could do is go to church, man. Go to church, get a job. You know what I mean? She really don't seem like the type that's going to be able to maintain a job because she probably going to show up late to work all the time or she going to get caught smoking or getting high on the job or something. She really need to go to church. She really need to give her life to the Most High, man. Give your life to the Lord, go to church, and you'll be all right. This cat right here, I can't really say, man. Maybe one day he'll take some acting classes so he can learn how to act better. And, maybe if he do another interview, he probably will be he'll play the role of a more convincing pimp. But if he really does have anything to do with the game, in reality, it's probably a thing, like I said earlier, where, somebody put him in the Build a Pimp workshop, a chick that was probably a little bit older and a little more seasoned than he is, put him in the Build a Pimp workshop and try to, Voltron together a pimp with him. But it ain't looking too good. He seemed like a cool young gentleman. He seems respectful and respectable. But at the same time, I don't think, obviously I don't think this lifestyle is for him, but yeah, that's my breakdown of these three people and they, the potential future that they may have. You dig? Listen, man, y'all almost got the likes, in harmony with the viewers. But listen, if you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. What I mean by that, hit that like button, you dig? Hydrate my game one time. Free Knowledge said he in the bushes right now watching. Y'all crazy, man. Patience is your backbone says, keep this pimping out your mouth, son, in my sinful voice. R.I.P. Yeah, that's definitely something that bro would say. Y'all on his helmet. Y'all ain't cutting the boy no slack. Mike Womack say them Air Force Ones had a bad flight mission. Yeah, them Air Force Ones wasn't cool, man. You know Mark is going to take a picture and show, he going to do the head to toe. He going to scroll down the picture and show you from head to toe. You know Mark is going to do that. He do that with everybody. Why would you come on there, man, and you talking about you some pimping, and you got these dirty-ass Air Force Ones? Like I said, it look like he play basketball in them shoes. He work on cars in them shoes. He be doing yards in them shoes. He done hopped a few brick walls in them shoes. Like, those are his everything shoes. You know what I mean? He do everything in them shoes. And then the chicks, they had them little sandals on. Like I said, if you're going to act like some pimping in 304, you could have did a better job than that. But the chick on the left, I think her name was Yasmin, she seemed like I could see it. She probably going to end up getting bumped off by some pimping for real. Especially if she, like I said, if she go out there to that Hollywood and she get down on that Western, you know what I mean? She might get bumped off by some real pimping. Let's see. W1, good looking with the $2 holla. Yo tengo pistola. For sure, man. Good looking with that $2 holla, you dig? Ronaldo Jason, good looking with the $2 holla. CDL. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let me see. Yeah, I could see them Air Force Ones do look like some shit from that he would work in a warehouse in too. Let me see. Let's go back. Yeah. I could see him, driving trucks and dropping off loads and, unloading trucks at warehouses and shit like that with these Air Force Ones on. I could see that, yeah. You know what I mean? Maybe June, he probably should go get his CDLs. You know what I mean? That'll be probably a decent job for him. You know what I mean? Some cool money. Time consuming. You know what I mean? He might have some lonely nights, but he might could have, one of these as his travel companion while he on the road, doing his trucking. You dig? But yeah, these Air Force Ones wasn't cool, man. Especially like I said, with the shoelaces out. I don't know if he just got out of jail, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. If this is the new style, I haven't seen it. But these shoes ain't brand new. These ain't fresh off the lot. You know what I mean? These got some mileage on them. And I know they got a lot of stories to tell. So, yeah. The shoestrings missing shit, I don't see it. Definitely not anything to do with no pimping. And he looked like he probably, and that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. He got a fresh ass t-shirt on, I will say that. That's what make the shoes look even more crazy. You got this crispy ass t-shirt on. Like, look at that t-shirt. Okay, y'all see that t-shirt, right? You got a good look at the t-shirt. The t-shirt look brand new. T-shirt look like it ain't really got too many miles on it. You see the t-shirt, then look at the Air Force Ones. I mean, damn. Come on, dog. Come on, son. Them Air Force Ones ain't cool, man. That ain't got nothing to do with representing the pimping, man. You know, we don't get down like that. And then, you know, it'd be a little bit different if you had some crispy Air Force Ones on, but, you know, your people's got the sandals on, but at least your Air Force Ones is crispy. You got these chicks with these bullshit-ass sandals on, and you got some dirty Air Force Ones on? Come on, man. You know, these is worse than some black Air Force Ones. You know, I'd rather him have on some brand new black Air Force Ones than some dirty white ones. You dig? The black Air Force Ones ain't cool, though. But I'd rather him have those on, some brand new ones, than these dirty-ass white Air Force Ones, man. You can't do that. That's a big no-no, especially if you're trying to act like you trying to get your Denzel Washington on about this pimping. That ain't it, man. That is not it. People be tripping, man. They be tripping, man. But yeah, that's my take on that. You know, we dropped a lot of game in this live. You know, hopefully y'all can appreciate the game that was dropped. Whether or not the scenario with these people on this interview is fictitious, one thing is that for sure is that we can learn from it. You dig? Because whether it's fictitious or not, it's unwise. So, yeah, man. This got Didi's discount all over it. Y'all ain't cutting them no slack. Y'all funny as hell in this chat, man. Oh man, y'all funny as hell. K Ward, you stupid. It's some Al Harringtons at the Kmart. He got the Al Harringtons on. Man, you stupid. Or the Target. Y'all stupid. He could have got some Starberries. 304's got some sandals from biblical times. Marvelous say he got on the Sheen jeans. Boy, y'all cutting up in this chat, boy. Them Air Force Ones need Jesus. They could use some prayer. You dig? The Air Force Ones could use some prayer for the show. They see me trolling, say them Air Force Ones doing the lean back. They doing the lean back. Hell no. Man, y'all stupid. That's why I rock with y'all though, man, because something wrong with y'all just like it's something wrong with me. Y'all crazy. Just plain stupid. Bruh got them Sons of Anarchy forces on. Y'all stupid. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all funny as hell. I just had a good idea too just now. Y'all just gave me an idea. We probably might do it tomorrow. And I figured out too, so I figured out how to add people on here now without doing the vertical look, you know, because right now we got the horizontal look. And I figured out how to add people through my my app that I go live with. So I got a good idea, man. We might do that shit tomorrow. And I'm gonna add some people to the live chat tomorrow. Y'all just gave me a good idea. And I think we're going to do it tomorrow. You dig? Michael Weston, good looking with the $2 holler. Hands down, fist bump. Hands doing a fist bump. Appreciate you, man. Shaq boy, I see you. Sylvia said, I like DDs. Isaiah Parks called him Kelpie 2.0. Right, like Will Cashgrove say, someone should have talked to him before he went. But correct vision, you stupid. Air Force Wands. Oh, man. Boy, y'all brutal. I thought I was brutal. Y'all brutal. Vito Santana say they got on the Burger King ones. Boy, y'all crazy. Bill said, just got in. Y'all ain't here cooking them shoes. Bill, they been on his shoes for a minute. I kind of started it off, but they done took it and ran with it on them shoes. The Bell say all three of them should be arrested immediately for giving the game a black eye. Will Castro said them he got the Temu ones on, not the Temu ones. Damn. Sheesh. Y'all crazy. He got to come to altar call. Y'all funny as hell, man. But listen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing on up, man. I appreciate y'all for getting the likes up and wiping your feet off at the door. This was fun, though, man. Like I said, we're going to do something a little different tomorrow and see how it go. And if it goes well, like I think it probably will, it might become a regular thing, man. Yeah, it might become a regular thing, man. But the welfares. Right, like Rod say, bro could have at least got some Stacey Adams. I'm still on that. Yeah, he could have did, man. He could have did anything better than some dirty white Air Force Ones, man. That's like the worst. That's like cardinal sin, man. Especially you call yourself representing this game. Yeah, dirty white Air Force Ones with no laces, and you can see the dirt. See, look, before we get up out of here, let me just point that out. You see how you can see the dirt on the tongue? The dirt on the tongue from, you know how when you got some shoes that's kind of old and you want to wash the laces and you take the laces out and it got dirt marks from between the laces was. Yeah, man. Like he got a piece of thread hanging on the left one. You know what I mean? Man, yeah, man. You wasn't supposed to come on here like this, man. Boy, these Air Force Ones look like they done seen 100 soccer games. You done played 100 games of soccer in these Air Force Ones, man. No, matter of fact, at least 100. I was gonna say 1,000. They don't look like they're 1,000 games deep, but they 100 games deep for sure. These shoes done seen 100 soccer games for sure. They done kicked some soccer balls around 100 times for sure. You know what I mean? Them Air Force Ones ain't cool, man. Don't never, ever, ever, ever get on the internet, man, especially a platform with over 6 million, man. Don't ever, ever, ever do that again, man. You out of line. Tripping. But yeah, we're going to wrap this thing on up, man. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. I appreciate the shares, the comments, the questions, the input, the feedback, especially the jokes. Y'all was funny as hell on this one. Funnier than usual. But I appreciate that. I appreciate you subscribing and hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate all the super chats, the cash apps, the PayPals. I appreciate your support in every which way that it comes with it, man. If you out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. Y'all already know who it is and what it is, man. Freeze is it. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.